Hello.
And welcome everyone to Secrets of Sarmanath. I believe this is session 34. I hope I labeled it correctly. We have ourselves a brand new guest today, the talented Mr. Burger. He has done all the art for my stream and for the Seekers here, so it's a pleasure to have him join us since we're going to be short a couple of people for a couple weeks. So welcome aboard. Glad to have you here with us.
Glad to be here.
Nice. So, it's been a week since I've seen most of you. How y'all been? Tell me about your week. Sean, I know that we asked about this earlier and you just gave me the sad shake of the head. So maybe we'll go to you first so we'll get the bad news out of the way.
Yeah, it's just been a lot of work. And then all my deadlines are coming up in the next couple of weeks, and then I also have 4 exams next week, so it's just there's just not spare time. There's really not time in general. Like there's not time to do the work.
Yeah.
But it's just busy and stressful.
How much longer do you have left in college? Like a month?
About a month.
A month. Exciting.
And then I'm done, assuming I don't fail a class. But if I'm not going back to college, I don't care anymore.
I'll just be 1 credit short.
He really is a senior then, because I think all college seniors hit that point where it's like either I fail a class and quit, or I pass my classes and quit, but I'm done regardless at this point. Like,
I can't do this anymore. Honestly, if it was 1 class, I might try to get into like a winter session or something and just do like the 3-week 3-credit class that they offer. But other than that, it's like I just can't fucking.
I was honestly in that same spot when I graduated because I was taking summer classes. My last term, I took 3 of them. I thought I was going to fail 1. Didn't want to go back for 1 class. So I got to pay rent, live down there again.
Oh yeah, no. Like I'd have to find a job or something to do while I was here. Like I'd have to find like a full-time job. And
you
then
tell 23-year-old me to live in a college town and take 1 class. I'm not passing that class.
If I could find an online course, I would totally do that. That'd be fun.
For sure, that'd be me.
But yeah,
nice.
That's kind of been how my week's going. And then I had something I was going to say, and then I immediately forgot it. So I'm good.
Was it about Wheel of Time or Final Fantasy? Because those are your typical talking points.
No, although I have started reading the Wheel of Time again.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Because like I can read a chapter of a book in like 15 to 30 minutes, right? So like, that's a thing that I can do if I just need to stop. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I took like all of Thursday off to not do anything because I just didn't want to fucking do anything. That was a terrible idea, but it felt great at the time.
I always do regret those.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck with that. Hopefully, we don't have to talk about what happens when you fail a class. Dan, how about you, man? How's life treating you?
I have a lot of time on my hands, so I use that to watch sports. It's a really good time to watch sports. Got college football, college basketball, and pro football. It's great.
Yeah. This is the best time to be a sports fan in America because like all the best sports are going right now. And you like have a choice almost every night of something sweet to watch.
Well, there's no baseball though.
Exactly. All the best stuff
all the best
on.
sports.
Yeah, that's
it's just tough to watch. It's so much slower than some of these other sports. Like,
yeah, no, I have weird sport interests. Like my 2 big ones, I can watch baseball and I can watch tennis, and that's about it.
well, tennis is at least fairly active, right?
Tennis is fun to watch. Tennis is probably my favorite sport
and
to watch.
there's plays in tennis.
Yeah.
I know there was a guy who hit a grand slam in the World Series. I mean, that feels like the sort of thing that wouldn't happen very often.
Yeah, baseball. Okay, so baseball is not fun to watch unless you played baseball and understand. Like, I was a pitcher, right? So I can watch somebody pitch and like look at the nuances of what they're doing and be like, oh, that's interesting how they're going for that right there. And then like a normal person watch that and they just threw the fucking ball again. What are you looking at?
I also played baseball, and I can confirm that it is neither fun to watch or play.
All right. Well, enjoy the sports, my man. We'll have to get together and like watch like a replay of this LSU Bama game we're about to miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike, how you been, man?
I'm about to have it on my phone.
I'm doing good. One of my favorite episodes. I actually technically think it was last week that it was our new episode, but one of my favorite episodes of our podcast came out last Monday. It's episode 39. It's called Big Top Priority.
Nice.
Our characters are. It's a very mild. What on earth just happened? I tried to go to Roll20. It took me to dicelogger.com. What? What happened to Roll20? Why is it not opening?
I don't know.
Oh, because it's .net. That's why. It's .net. Our characters basically join a circus. One of our quests is to escort the circus, and then the circus tells us that actually we're short some performers. So if you guys could instead of escorting us, and nobody likes an escort quest anyway, if you could just perform in the circus tonight, and we had a lot of fun with it. It was really good. We are doing for Orcs. This month's theme is Uncaged, the very popular series of adventures. I know the first one primarily focuses around monsters, which are typically portrayed as female, Medusas and Banshees and Harpies and things. One of the authors is actually running a game for the November 18th event, which is pretty cool. Tickets for the November 18th event are not sold out yet, so if you live in Portland and that sounds like a fun thing to do, definitely check that out. And then I think next month's theme is Festivus, or Questivus, as we called it.
Nice.
Hello. Baby's still growing.
Baby's still growing, yeah.
Baby's still growing. I'll update you if that changes, which hopefully it will not.
That would be an interesting update. We would have to.
Yeah, the baby has started shrinking. Actually.
Yeah,
totally
you're
reverse
hoping.
Course.
Let's not go for the Benjamin Button case.
Yeah. So
Alrighty.
he's still growing. He's in a decent mood right now. I've got him for a while, and I'm probably going to miss the EX raid in Pokemon Go today because they always schedule it at 1:00 on Saturday, and I don't think I'm gonna pop my headphones in and go down to the park to catch a.
I am excited for Pokemon Sword and Shield, but I never really could get into Go. I guess part of it is I have a flip phone, so you can't really Pokemon Go. That would be a major hindrance to Pokemon going.
Greg, I envy the flip phone life. If I was not going to be working for an employer who's like, "Are you going to be on Slack all the time?" I would totally get a fucking flip phone.
I am hoping that Sword and Shield release like a Steel Sword and Crystal Shield or something like special edition that adds the whole Pokedex, because I'm really not on board with the whole you can have Charizard but you can't have Bulbasaur or Squirtle. I
don't really have an issue with it, and we could have a long discussion about it, but before
many people have.
game is not in place. So that sounds awesome, man. Glad that things are going well with you, Mr. Burger.
I'm sure I'll pick it up. I was gonna say I'm sure I'll pick them up eventually, but the initial
you could watch me play them.
I could. I have watched people play Pokemon games before. Are you doing any special rules when you play? Are you doing a Nuzlocke?
I'm just gonna do a basic playthrough just to enjoy it first, and then I don't know, maybe we'll Nuzlocke. Who knows? Mr. Burger, what's up with you, man? How's your life been treating you?
It's been stressful.
Yeah,
I've been doing a lot of work, and just work is stressful. But I've also been watching. I watch sports, but I watch jiu-jitsu, tournament fighting.
Nice.
That sounds awesome. I wish I watched jiu-jitsu tournament fighting.
Can I ask a question? Where do you watch that at?
Yeah. Where do you watch that?
Well, I'll watch. I guess it's not tournament fighting. There's some fighting that I watch on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
There's something called Jiu-Jitsu Worlds that just came out, where they added in slapping because jiu-jitsu is too boring. And so they're all slapping each other. But it's really just to loosen up the moves or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'll just watch vloggers, jiu-jitsu vloggers rolling.
Interesting. All right. This seems really cool.
I haven't watched jiu-jitsu, but I have watched slapping competitions before.
I have also seen the slapping competitions.
The Russian ones, they just take turns slapping each other.
I'm aware that slapping contests exist, but I don't think I've ever actually watched one.
There's one Russian slapping freak.
Yeah, it's basically there's just like a
Brutalized
400-pound
dudes.
guy who walks in and just destroys the entire competition.
They go
Like he just has an
who
arm
would like
like a
to die
rail gun,
today?
and he just like
Come up here
knocks
and
people
die
out.
on stage real quick, and they let him slap the guy first, just like piss him off, and then this dude just breaks these people.
I was a big fan of the episode of MythBusters where they did the slow motion footage of Jamie slapping Adam, and you just watched Adam's whole face turn into jello as it jiggled in slow mo.
No, that
So
That
they
was
go
a
at
good
a
episode.
higher, they go faster, but you see people like get straight up knocked out. You'll see them go like, and then just like fall to the ground.
All right. Wow.
Ugh.
New interest sparked all around there, Mr. Burger. Very
There you
nice. So, why
that's
don't
my
we
connection
jump
to
into a
jujitsu.
little Dungeons and Dragons here, huh? So, last time, the party made its way through the desert, finally coming across the Scrivener's Tower deep in the desert, where they found the ground around it writhing in a kind of rhythmic pattern. Unable to determine much about it, they strode confidently forward until they determined that they would have to cross this writhing ground in order to reach the tower. Noticing that there was a gap in between the way the ground moved, they timed it out and attempted to sprint across as fast as they could go. While Rose turned into a horse and carried Gorick safely across, and I believe it was Janlar, who used his haste abilities to race across with them. Quartz's childlike legs and Hugh's inability to run in the soft sand trapped them midway through, landing on the back of this revolving ground and learning that it was the scaly carapace of giant sand worms that immediately attempted to attack and consume the party. After a long and pitched battle, including the potential deaths and actual death of a major character, Janlar, the worms were defeated, and Gorick had the opportunity to use his clerical powers to revive and resurrect Janlar, and finally enter their way into the tower. Once there, they found the tower to be completely and utterly silent. Small telepathic bells chimed to ring out, and found a strange fox-like creature that appears to be the main inhabitants of the Scrivener's Tower. Lead them up into the tower, where through written communication they were able to request books on various subjects. Quartz learning more and more about omen reading. Certain scrolls and books carried forth about the Silver Lord, as well as some alchemical instructions and notes written by one Algernon in the tower. Gorick made his way down by request into a chamber of Ungral, where he was able to read from many books of the dead, and even find and notate in his own entry when he had passed from the world of the living the first time. After praying to Ungral, he was religiously, or he was magically led to a specific book which detailed the lineage of Dworkin, the first dwarf, and the making of the unbroken chain, the unbreakable chain, and how it is laid to rest with a clan of chain breakers in an old hall just far to the west of the town of Sarmanath. He was also drawn somewhere deep below the tower by Ungral, but lacking a way to get there, he made his way back to the party in the room at hand. After taking a nice long sleep in the tower, the party attempted to have the Scriveners lead them to Algernon, but the Scriveners seemed to be unwilling to do so. And eventually, after enough futile efforts, Hugh volunteered his ability to pick the lock on the door, and so doing, opened it up and led the party sneaking ever so quietly out into the tower proper, attempting to sneak their way into finding Algernon wherever he may be in the tower. And that is where we left off, and that is where we will pick up right here. So, Hugh, Gorick, Rose, Janlar, and Quartz, you have picked the lock on the door of your study. It is swung open. It took you a long time, and you know that it made a fair bit of noise, which worries you to some degree. But as of now, you look across the tower, and you don't see any of the Scriveners anywhere near you, and you are free to go about your own business. Rose takes out her staff and ever so quietly taps it on the ground. You see mossy grass sprout out from around it, dampening the footfalls around you, allowing you to sneak more carefully with the pass without trace. So, what do you do?
Gorick went down, right? He didn't go like all the way to the forbidden section, but he went to like that general location, right?
Yes, he was led down below the tower some amount.
Yeah, there was a shrine or something down in the lower areas, but I didn't see any means of going farther down. Did I? There wasn't like a staircase that kept going?
Not where you were. However, you were only led through a single door. You have noticed that there are many others around here.
I went down a staircase at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
That staircase didn't ever. It ended where
yeah.
I
So
came
a single door was opened on the first floor, and it led you down a staircase to a room full of statues of gods. Many of them alien to you, many of them familiar. And this room did not seem to have another doorway in it. But once you were in there, they pushed aside the statue of Ungral, which led us to a second staircase down into his specific chamber. From there, you were led back out. On the first floor, there were many doors that could have been opened, but this one was selected by the Scrivener that was leading you.
I mean, I guess I could lead us back over there because I know there's a staircase that leads down, and most people who design buildings put stairs near stairs. So,
yes. All right. So Gorick, you begin leading the way carefully down into the tower, trying your best to not be caught by any of these Scrivener creatures, and making your way back down to the first floor. The spiral staircase around the outside of the building is largely empty. There are doors leading into the interior on each floor, but you avoid them. I want the group here to give me a stealth check as you are making your way down through the tower. You get advantage from the pass without trace that Rose has cast for you. Wow, those are some not great rolls there. well.
Tower.
You descend
I'm pretty
down
sure
the tower.
with the plus 10, I think Gorix is 15.
Oh, right, we have plus 10. I'm at 16 then.
Is it advantage or is it plus 10?
I think it's plus 10.
Yeah, pass without trace is plus 10.
I
Gorix
erroneously gave you advantage, but we'll go ahead and give you advantage and plus 10.
I
Well,
was
with
just-
some
six-
plus 10s.
Well, I was just saying Gorix has... Oh, actually, no, Gorix isn't. Gorix is... Because Gorix has disadvantage because of his armor, so I have to take the lower one. So Gorix has 12 with a plus 10.
Okay.
I have
Alright.
16 with that.
Kenlar is 15.
Okay. All right. So with some plus 10s, 16, we do probably need Hugh as well.
Yeah, we
Oh
need
yeah,
to
he
roll
can
for
maybe
you.
not screw this one up.
So we need Hugh to pull the group average.
Oh,
up.
should we
Really
do
what
Rose
need.
as well?
Yes. Why don't you roll for Rose and I'll roll for Hugh?
Okay,
Is Ray
so
good at stealth? Can we use Ray to make...
Ray
What
is
is-
terrible at stealth. However,
What
with
is
the plus
Rose's
10
stealth?
from Pass Without Trace, he is very good.
I'm assuming it's like plus 3 normally or something.
Rose, let me pull open her sheet. You can pull open the character sheets and roll 20.
Who is
Oh.
rolling at plus 19 to stealth?
That's plus 10 and plus 9.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right, that makes...
I'm
I'm less upset by that now.
Yeah. Rose has a stealth of plus 1 naturally, so she'd be rolling at plus 11 with Pass Without Trace.
30.
All right. Well, you are very stealthy, and the Scriveners do not hear as your footsteps are quietly padded by the soft, grassy moss that has grown underneath your feet. You quietly make your way down the staircases into the foyer proper. Here, you see the door that you initially came in from that will lead back into the main waiting room and back out to the front of the tower. You also see a similar door made of silver that, Gorik, you know that you were led down before into the kind of religious relic chambers of the tower. And then you also are led, you can also see many other doors here. One in particular has a kind of statue of one of these fox-like scrivener creatures on either side of it. There are words in that kind of alien and unfamiliar language next to it, and it clearly is locked by some form of geometric key.
Do we want to check this obviously different door, or do we want to try one of the other doors first?
I like the obviously different door. So it's a geometric key, you said? Like you put a cube inside of the door and then it like... Okay.
Yes.
I don't suppose there's any like geometric objects just lying around the room.
You take a look around, and you don't see anything that obviously fits this geometric hole in the door. There are just some loose objects here. There are candles lit that are giving off a soft light that burn ever so slightly on tables that line kind of the walls. On them, they're like covered in felt with small kind of objects of art.
How elaborate is the geometric pattern?
It seems fairly simple. As Sean was saying, it seems to be more kind of cube-like, but it is definitely not something that a simple key would unlock.
Would Gorik be able to like carve a candle into the wax of the candle into the shape of the geometric thing? Because candles are pretty sculptable.
Yeah, I think so. With a good enough skill check, I'm pretty sure you could do that. Yeah.
Speaking of candles, how are their candles doing, by the way? Because I know fires have been hard to light lately. Like, are their candles just burning, no problem?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Just softly burning away. It doesn't even really seem as if the wax is melting down. They are smokeless, just giving off an ever just so soft light across the hallway that you're in.
What kind of check do you want to sculpt this candle?
I think this is a sleight of hands check, right? You are using your dexterous hands to sculpt this just right.
Gorik's gonna pick up the candle, look at it, look at the lock, like kind of shake it, point at the lock, and hand it to Hugh. Because Gorik's arthritic old hands have a dexterity.
Alrighty.
And now we have that scene out of Idiocracy where he was trying to like put the circular candle into the square hole in the door.
Yes. Hugh will give it his best sleight of hand check here for you. Rolling a 12. He spends some time kind of shaping this candle. He licks his fingers and I can't say anything other than silence. It's the only thing in my brain.
Snuffs the wick.
Snuffs. Thank you. Snuffs the wick and begins shaping it into this kind of geometric cube. As you're most of the way through this, he's almost ready. You hear footsteps softly echoing towards you as they are making their way from down one of the other hallways that lead to the kind of staircases winding up from the opposite side of where you came from.
So where exactly are we right now? Are we just like in an open hallway, or are we like down a side passage of any kind? Like, is this a concealed spot at all?
This is an open area, right? You're in a kind of like an open.
Okay. Is this like are we in the middle of like a passage that is like because there's like hallways that you obviously go through, right? They're like bigger than all the other general walkways. Is that what we're in, or did we like walk down sort of like a side route at all to get to where we are?
You're kind of in like you're in the main first floor of the library, right? The first thing that you enter into is this like kind of waiting area that you went into before. From here, you've pulled the lever, you've dung the bell, and you've walked into this kind of main antechamber that leads to all these other places, right? So you're in this kind of circular room. You can see up into the tower proper. On either end of this hallway, there are staircases leading up around the edges of the tower, right? That you've walked up before. And from this kind of main hall, there are these doors leading elsewhere in the tower.
Are the desks here like? Are they just like wooden legs, or are they like closed desks?
They are mostly just wooden legs, but they have that kind of felt covering over the top of them.
And they dangle down below?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Down below.
Quartz is gonna point at these tables then and try and crawl underneath and see if it's concealable. Like if you could hide underneath a desk and be generally hidden from sight.
Absolutely. Quartz, you immediately crawl underneath the desk and attempt to hide away. The cloth dangles down fairly far. It might leave a little bit of feet or something for someone who is carefully looking, but at a glance, Quartz disappears.
The intelligent person in me knows that we should hide. The silly part of me really wants to just shush the person whose footsteps I hear approaching. Like, I imagine them just walking loudly and Gorik just turning and shh. And them being so admonished that they just turn around and leave. Like,
So what's the plan? Footsteps are approaching you. You have Quartz is ducked under a table.
There are other doors around us, right?
Yes.
I will try the nearest door that isn't the one with the weird keyhole just to see if it's unlocked.
You try the nearest door. Highs or lows, Mike?
Highs.
This door is locked. You pull on it. Cannot open.
All right. Gorik is going to arthritically climb underneath the desk then, too.
All right.
Are there enough desks that we could all hide under desks?
You're in kind of like a longer antechamber, right? This leads to everywhere, so spotted throughout here, there's enough tables and desks that you can like slide underneath. Yes.
All right. I really want Rose to go like stand in a pot and just pretend to be like a tree. Yeah, exactly.
All right. It sounds like everyone is hiding. So I want a quick group stealth check to hide away from the approaching footsteps.
Okay. Do we still have the pass without trace? Because it does veil you from sight as well as sound.
Yes, I will give you pass without trace bonus. Rose is very confidently cast that many times, so we'll assume that we have it here. A 31, a 12.
What are we? Sorry, it's a stealth, right? Or
Yeah, plus 10 on your normal roll.
Stealth plus 10.
That is plus 10 on my normal roll.
I know.
31, a 12, and an 18. I have somehow gotten into the Field of Heroes battle music. I apologize. There we go.
Oh, here, I can roll for Rose really fast as well.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll for Rose. I'm going to roll for Hugh here.
Oh, that was supposed to be plus 11, so 30 for Rose.
38 for Hugh. So combined, you all begin sitting and hiding underneath these tables, letting the long decorative fabric hang down around you. You hear these footsteps come up to the doors in front of you and stop. And you hear a slight jingling in one of the pockets near you. As you kind of peek underneath the hem of these fabrics and see, you see that one of the fox-like creatures is wearing his kind of more traditional robes. The other one is wearing kind of like bright white robes hemmed with like a gold outline. And from his pocket, he produces a larger key ring. That is full of geometric shapes and oddities that are not at all like the normal keys you saw unlock the rooms upstairs. He slowly rings through it, selects the square cube-like geometric shape, places it in the door, and like as he does so, he turns the key and the whole door just kind of shifts around itself, and he pushes it inward, swinging it open. The two of them walk through it, And after a few moments, the door closes back
As
behind them.
as the door is closing, can I try to cast Mage Hand to move like a small like candle or something into the door, like as they're walking through it?
Okay.
It is a verbal spell, so they might hear it.
Yeah. Go ahead and are you trying to like? Are you trying to
I'm trying to
cover
block
up
the
your
door
voice so that they don't hear the spell?
as much as I can, but like
Uh-huh.
it's also a verbal spell, so I don't even know if that's
you're just saying it. All right.
I'm saying it quietly, but I don't know if that like maybe I can't do that. I don't know.
Okay, I will give you a chance with an Arcana check to attempt to muffle your voice as best as you possibly can to get your sleight of hand or your mage hand off. Yes. A 16. You speak your sleight of hand. A ghostly apparition of a hand appears, picks up one of the candles from the table above you, and comes racing to the door. As the door begins spinning closed, you slide this candle in there, and you see the door kind of stop partially through. The door kind of for a moment, and then stops. You wait for a beat, too. It doesn't seem that the foxes are coming back out through it to the other side. You have stopped the door from closing all the way.
Okay, Quartz is gonna wait for probably another 30 or so seconds because I want the foxes that went through that door to have a good lead on us. But I don't know how long that candle's gonna hold. So after like maybe 30 seconds of waiting, he's gonna like crawl out and start heading for the door.
All right. You crawl out and begin heading for the door. You look around. You don't see any more of those fox-like creatures around you. You are once again kind of alone in this part of the tower. All right. You crawl forward. You find the door. You can push it open, and the candle had blocked the closure of the door completely. And revealing to you a large kind of hallway, darker than the softly lit library around you, but still light enough for you and everyone in your party to see. As you make your way down through these, as you look your way down, there's a staircase leading to kind of a lower chamber of the tower.
Yeah, I guess we continue with Hugh taking the front because he's the party tank now.
Perfect. Use the player who's not here.
On himself too.
Well, he also is straight up the party tank. Like, it's not even a joke.
Before going down the dark staircase, Chandler would cast mage armor on himself.
All right, you cast mage armor on yourself.
Or didn't you already do that before? Oh, you had to sleep, right?
Yeah. Oh, I guess that. Actually, you know what? Sorry, I wouldn't cast that on myself. It's another verbal spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would just.
Okay. All right. You don't cast mage armor on yourself. I'll let you wheedle out of that one. You make your way slowly down the staircase ever into the dark. You find yourself in a large, flat kind of level of the room. Here there are smaller hallways leading off from this one, and lots of doors, all of them with strange kind of symbols carved into them. One door seems to have many bones inlaid around it. One door has the alchemical symbol that you recognize from your book on it. Another has more arcane images. There are probably hundreds of doors here, and small kind of branching hallways as you go off of it. As you make your way further in, you see there are kind of cases, small relics that are left around similar tables to what you see above in these kind of main hallways here. Each of them kind of in between two sections of doors, just laid out in their cases. And you continue on, making your way past all of these things, and go further into the tower, eventually finding the foxes once again ahead of you, stopped at a final door. This one is carved into the very kind of rock of the walls itself. Once again, it has the kind of two Scrivener statues on either side of it, and a very complicated geometric pattern in the door. The Scrivener's kind of moving his way through the keys and selects one eventually, clicking it into the door and spinning it. Once again, the whole door kind of revolves with the key as he pushes it open and makes his way through with his partner Scrivener in tow. Once again, you see him go through and begin to shut the door on you. Which they do, and the door closes and revolves firmly shut, leaving you on this kind of third, lower floor of the tower.
Okay, so getting a closer look at the geometric shape in the door, you said it's a complicated pattern?
Yes, it's more than just a simple cube. This seems to have many sides to it, all of them slightly jagged, even perhaps non-Euclidean in ways. You would imagine this is at least a 20 or 30-sided shape of varying kind of mind-bending angles to it.
Okay, I mean, we could try to mold the candle, get candle wax and melt it down and mold it into place, but that might be non-workable.
You said there were doors on the way down here that had different symbols on them, right? Can I take a look at the door with the alchemical symbol on it?
Absolutely. You backtrack your way through the halls and find a small branching hallway off from this main one. At the end of it is a door with just made of fine iron, small geometric shape in it, acting as a key, and there's the symbol of alchemy emblazoned upon the iron door. On the table next to it, you see a black box that is kind of made of shaped bone, almost like black bone intertwined in a box-like shape, sitting on one of the small tables near it.
Can I open the box up? Does it have...
Sure. You open the box, and inside you see a long, wasp husk. It looks exactly like a big yellow jacket, though it is black instead of your kind of more natural yellows and tones to it. It appears as if it is either a husk or a shedding of some kind of a wasp inside this black box.
Can I use mage armor to pick the husk up out of the box?
No, because mage armor can't pick anything.
Or mage hand.
That was a can I do this? I don't know. Can you?
Your mage hand, which I believe is still around, right? You don't have to recast it.
Let me check to see its duration. I would recast it.
Okay, so your mage hand is still around. Comes floating in and picks up this wasp husk. It's long enough to fit kind of crossways, diagonally in the palm of your hand. Or in the palm of the mage hand in this case. And it kind of shines and glistens ever so slightly.
Okay. Can I take a look at it? Does it appear to be shaped in any way? Does it look like it might be the key to this door, or...
No, it doesn't appear to match the geometric shape in here, but it is a nice little wasp. It's shaped exactly like like you would see a wasp, just larger.
Are there similar boxes next to other doors?
Yes, yeah. Throughout here, there are small artifacts and things littered throughout this kind of area.
Okay. I'll put this in my bag and head back to the party.
You pick it up and put it in your bag. As you do so, you hear kind of like a small buzzing in your head, like that of a bee or a wasp, just kind of sitting in your head. It's annoying probably at first, but as you return to your party and you step for a little ways, eventually you're pretty sure that this buzzing is asking for a location or a target.
I'll just try to ignore the buzzing for now.
Okay. You attempt to ignore it. It persists in your head, just sitting there, just buzzing away, and you're pretty sure it wants a target, but you do your best to ignore it as you return to the party.
I'll ask if anyone has any ideas.
The alchemy, the alchemy door lock. The Philosopher's Stone wouldn't fit in that as a key, would it?
No, it would not. But good idea.
What shape is the Philosopher's Stone?
The Philosopher's Stone, it's like a, I don't know, a rock. It looks like a reddish rock. That you could have pulled out of any garden, right? It's about the size of the palm of your hand. Like, it would encompass the entirety of the palm of your hand. It beats, like, with a ruddy red glow to it. But beyond that, like, it doesn't have a specifically carved shape, right? It is an irregularly formed rock.
Okay. Pity. That would have been a fun solution. Excuse me.
So what does the alchemy door look like shape-wise? Because I think that's probably the door that we want. I imagine Algernon was interested in alchemy, right?
He was, correct.
Yeah.
What is the door shaped like? It's,
well, the key for the door, because the alchemy door is locked, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like a pyramid.
A pyramid?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that seems relatively simple to replicate. Are there any candles in the area?
Not down here.
Damn it.
The candles are up in the kind of first floor.
Oh, we still have the one candle.
Yeah.
She was looking at the little cube he made, like, pyramid cube?
Well, so, yeah, that's actually a fair point, though. Like, is the cube bigger than the pyramid?
You could
because
probably
if the cube is like a superset, we could cut it further.
You could probably shape this one more time.
This candle's losing integrity.
Yeah, like you have like one more shaping of the candle probably left.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well give it a shot. Like, if it works, then that's probably our best bet, you know?
Absolutely. Let us pop open Hugh again, and we'll roll a sleight of hand here to make this
We
pyramid.
can do this every week. Have someone here where it's like, oh, let's use all of it. Or like we used to follow with spells.
All right,
Is this a natural one?
No. He calmly takes out a small dagger, begins shaping this, eyeballing the lock in front of him, and eventually Hugh has a nice little pyramid shaped out of this candle. He places it in, and fortunately enough, the wax seems to click into place, and he's able to revolve this door open. As it swings in, you see a large kind of room just full of ancient scrolls, the smell of dust and long forgotten air, just kind of old, musty, dingy air just assaults your nose. You see just rows and rows of books and papers, including a small kind of single desk in here that could be sat at to study. Along the far side of the wall, the kind of shelves stop, and there are 4 kind of large boxes, each of them lined up on the far wall, each of them like delicately carved and engraved out of different metals. You recognize them from your trials below the great city of Raekwon, where the medals are the first 4 in the test to get through the second trial, ending, of course, in a very kind of wet and hardly solid-looking mercury box. Behind that are many tools, and behind the boxes where the shelves begin again, instead of books and scrolls, you see instruments and tools and just the technical requirements and accoutrement of alchemy sitting behind it, beakers and flasks and balances, those types of things.
So there are 4 intricately carved boxes. Do they have any sort of writing on them? Like you said, they were the 4 medals from the test, right?
Correct.
Do they they look like they open, right? Like they're not just.
Well, the one that's made of this semi-solid, semi-liquid mercury doesn't appear as if it will open easily. The others do appear like they'll open like a normal box.
Okay. I mean, I didn't really come here to pillage the place. So it's just like a storage room essentially, right? Are there any other doors and exits in this place?
No, not from this room.
Are there any player characters sitting in the corner tied up and gagged?
No,
anything?
not in the alchemical room, no.
Is there a room that has a person behind bars, on the picture, the photograph of please, I'm waiting to join this adventure.
You look around this 3rd floor and you get the feeling that perhaps this player character is somewhere below you, waiting for you to get to him.
Oh, we should have just followed them more closely.
Just on the load screen, jamming, join game. It's grayed out.
It's Left 4 Dead. You're just sitting there in the.
Oh, Mike, you froze.
He froze.
It is Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
Are there any bells in this room? Didn't we ring a bell to get them to come up to us when we were in our original room?
I don't know if we want to ring a bell in this place. This is part of the restricted archives, right?
Yeah, we gotta get someone to come out to us so we can get in that next door.
But we don't. We don't want to bring the fuzz in on us.
Chandler's just gonna attack them with the bees.
The bees.
My internet's being real laggy right now. I'm not sure why, so I might drop in and out a couple of times here.
Okay, well, you froze at a brilliant point.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was good. Full fish shake and everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I don't remember what you were talking about even. What was he saying?
He was talking about Left 4 Dead. It's all good. So you look for a bell to ring, and you find that there is no such bell here. It seems those were installed for visitors, and you get the impression that this area is not really meant for visitors to.
Is not for visitors. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could cast Toll the Dead. That makes a ringing sound.
Yeah, Chandler was thinking about just knocking on the forbidden door at the bottom.
You don't. When you say knocking, you don't mean capital K knock the spell that I keep hoping that you have, right?
No, of course I don't have that.
The least utilitous utility wizard.
Had somebody else with the spell knock.
Does anyone else learn knock? Can Quartz learn knock, Sean?
I can, but I have 6 spells in total that aren't cantrips, so I wouldn't really want to use a slot for that.
I don't
so
think
the party
clerics can learn.
sits and argues and can't figure out what to do.
Silently.
And
We
they-
silently argue.
They silently
Yeah,
argue.
it's
Not out
with
loud
looks
argue.
and stares.
Yeah, with looks and
yeah.
stares. And
We get in a slapping competition at one point.
a Jiu-Jitsu Worlds competition breaks out in the middle of the ancient reliquary.
Being Russian, Gorik is surprisingly good at slapping.
Some amount of time passes. The time you find in this tower is hard to track specifically. And eventually, you see the door to the floor below you begin to spin open once again.
All right. So it takes a little bit of time to open, right?
Mm-hmm. You see it beginning to shift open. It's going to do a full revolution and then swing open.
Are there spaces to the sides of the door that you can't see?
Well, it is on either side of it are the two scriveners in their poses, the statues of them.
Could I get like behind those statues so that I wouldn't be visible from the doorway?
Quartz, you duck behind
I'm gonna
the
do that
statue
and prepare
quickly.
my staff for a quick bonk on the head.
You said that earlier we could hear people's footsteps. Does the door make noise when it opens, or is it like really
Yes.
quiet?
It's quieter than you expect. It is very quiet for spinning stone inside of its like socket, but it does make noise.
I could cast silence, and it might be slightly less noticeable here because it's so quiet already. And that would let us bonk some people on the heads without making a ton of ruckus.
Janlar would like to. Can I possibly cast minor illusion and create like just a box in the middle of the hallway on the floor?
To hide in?
No, just to have on the floor in the middle of the hallway.
You cast minor illusion. There's a box in the middle of the floor in the hallway.
Perfect. And then I'm just gonna hide.
All right, you attempt to hide quickly behind one of the statues. Goric, Rose and Hugh follow suit on the other side, hiding on behind the statues, waiting. Goric, what do you do?
I think I'm gonna go ahead and cast silence on the door.
All right, you cast silence on the door. As you do so, the grinding of it just deafens. The whole room is cast in an even more eerie and utter silence than before. The door finally shifts its way open, slides forward.
I'm gonna crouch
Except it doesn't
behind...
make that noise.
Right. I'm gonna crouch behind the illusory box. So like just the top of my head.
You crouch behind the illusory box.
So just the top of my head is like poking over the top of it.
Gorik's just like looking over the box. As the door opens, you see the two fox creatures that entered in before stepping out. One is holding a long, like square-looking shape that's covered in a delicate cloth, in two hands like this. They both pull up short as they see the box.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop out from behind my hiding spot and just whack him in the head.
I was gonna say Goric is going to unroll our scroll that just says Algernon. I'm just standing there behind a box with a scroll, and as they're reading the word Algernon, they get bonked over the head by Quartz.
You unroll the scroll. They roll a natural 1 on their perception check with telepathy. So you were keeping your mind very quiet about your intentions, Quartz. You come leaping out with your staff from behind the statue of the Scrivener. They are completely taken unawares.
I hope you're excited for my -1 strength. Oh wait, I have advantage.
You have advantage.
7.
A 7, a 9. Let me pull up some AC here. I think that they might not
have more than 9. I think
if they do have a dex penalty, yeah, I think it would work. But I doubt it. Most monsters don't have penalties in my experience.
Yeah, no. I have a stat block here. But
usually it's mental stats if they have a penalty in something. It's almost never physical stats that they're
oh, no, you do not. You do not strike him. You come slamming down with your staff.
That's okay. Hopefully, Quartz is a role model for others to follow suit, or maybe more. Like he's just too small. He can't get his staff up to like. Heads with good leverage.
Hugh is all about this life.
Hugh
was with you. He's
a sailor. He does what he can.
Yes, he does what he can. You come slamming down with your staff. The fox just looks at you and like twitches slightly to the side. You just like whiff in empty space.
I like to imagine Quartz can't reach people's heads with like good leverage because he's too short for it. So he hits them in the head and it's just like, ow.
It just bonks him. Just. Okay, I can approve of that. That is what happens instead. You just bonk this thing on the head. It's like. Hugh comes popping around the outside because you know that he was about this plan. And Hugh will make a stabbing attempt with his rapier of wounding.
Cool. With my remaining movement, can I hop into the doorway and make sure it doesn't close?
Yes.
Because I don't think I'm going to be too good in a melee fight
You swiggle between these very surprised fox creatures. As your friend comes jumping out, stabbing them for 17 points of damage. I
saw the red and got really worried.
It takes 17 points of damage. The fox-like creature emits this like low, like snarl of pain and anger that you don't hear because there's silence.
Unless it's telepathic.
It is telepathic. Everything they do is telepathic.
Maybe it's a telepathic snarl then, because it can make telepathic noise.
Yeah. Every like basically you've never had anything, but it would have also done this non-telepathically, but its lips move. You just hear it in your head instead of normally. Excellent. That is the Hughes. So, was anyone else prepared to jump out and stab these things?
Yeah.
Wow, Gorik rolls 17 for initiative if you need an initiative.
Okay, Gorik, you will be a 17 initiative.
I think Gorik's like surprise round action was to distract them with the Algernon scroll so that everybody else could jump them.
Absolutely.
So.
Janlar would like to stab them as well. And I would also like to try to mentally tell these bees that target has been acquired. Leaving a target as I jump at this guy.
All right. So you tell the buzzing, this is your target, and the wasp rips out of your bag, tearing a hole through it, and goes driving right through the center skull of the creature, and it just bores its way in. Blood just comes ripping down its face in a red mass. And you see the creature just fall backwards, instantly dead on the floor. You are now going to make me a wisdom save DC 15, Janlar.
Yikes. Wisdom
save.
This is really not good, guys.
I don't think I have a single spell that doesn't involve or verbal components.
Clerics don't. All clerics
It's a save. Do I get my proficiency on saving throws?
Are you proficient in wisdom saves?
Yeah,
I
it
am.
depends on the...
So yeah, it depends on your class, right? You'll have those
am.
checked. So yes, then you do get your proficiency.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was... just...
Only on the saves that your class is proficient in, unless you've picked one up for some other reason.
Gorik is going to take advantage of the fact that he's standing in a silence spell
Uh-huh.
to just yell, Moradin's beard in the silence.
Your mouth moves, you're very animated.
Yeah.
All right, a 10. Janlar, you think you're a bee. You are mentally dominated by the nature of being a wasp. And until you save, you are a wasp.
Okay, I got that.
All right.
You are now a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant male.
Chandler's like,
Must engage in
Prepared.
at all times.
So that will take your turn. And Hugh has stabbed. That, I believe, is going to be initiative here. So, Janlar, I believe you rolled a 10 on your initiative. Gorik a 17. Quartz an 8. Hugh and Rose. We will roll initiative for Hugh. He rolls a 16.
oh, I can do Rose really fast.
Yeah,
'cause
absolutely.
It's +1.
And
7.
Rose gets a 7. Excellent. The creature in front of you rolls an 8 on their initiative. So, the first to act after this crazy round of surprise is, in fact, Gorik. You shout by Moradin's beard, silently, of course. And now what do you do?
I'm gonna hold my hand out towards Rose and try and like use the force to summon Sambar into my hand. I don't think it's gonna work, but I know Escobar can fly, and I want to see if I can will Sambar to fly to my hand like Thor's hammer.
You attempt to Thor's hammer, Sambar. Unfortunately, Sambar does not have movement speed all of his own.
All right,
he doesn't
and
need
does not
worthy
fly
assist.
into your hand.
I thought maybe if I was trying, it might give him that little nudge. That he
Not yet, anyway. Maybe
Alright.
on further level ups, but
in that case, so there's only one left, right?
yes, one is very dead. A mask of red just down his face, where the wasp bore into his skull.
I'm going to. If I cast Hold Person, I'll lose Silence, which is only worth doing if it works. If it doesn't work, it's really bad to do. So let's not. let's go ahead and...
I guess we'll put some combat music on.
Yeah. I'll just... You know, I'll walk up with my mace and I'll just like gesture for this fox to like kneel. Like I won't attack it, but I'm gonna basically try and pantomime like submit.
You pantomime submit, and that leads us to Hugh, who will stab it with his rapier. Hugh rolls a 24. Does 21 points of damage to this creature, and stacks 1 wounding on it with his bonus action. He mentally commands Esteban Montague Garcia IV to race out of his sheath and stab at the creature.
Do you want me to roll intimidation or persuasion or anything on my turn, or?
No. I think.
All right.
I think I know what he's gonna do. But that works for me. That is Esteban and Hugh's turn, which brings us to Janlar. You're a wasp. What do you do?
I open up my bag and start eating food.
Very good. Yes. Janlar just begins running through his rations in the middle of the floor. Perfect. That brings us...
Does he save again at the end of his turn?
Yes, you do. Please give me a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw. No, you are...
What are wasps drawn toward? And it said protein foods.
There you go. There you go. You begin eating through your rations. You are still a wasp. That brings us to Quartz and this creature. Quartz, do you have better than a +1 dex?
Yeah, I have +3.
All right, you go first.
The one that they have the key ring on them, right?
Yes, the one who had the fancy key ring now has a wasp bored through his skull and is lying on the ground dead.
Sweet, I can work
With that, I'm gonna go and just try and hit this guy again. I was gonna prop the door open, but if we have the key ring, I don't need to try and prop it open. So
all right.
Get the quarterstaff ready and try and whack him with a 13.
13 will hit.
Okay. The quarterstaff does D6 and then -1 because I have -1 strength. So he takes 4 points of damage.
He takes 4 points of damage as you thwap him in the back of the head, harder this time.
I think he crouched down from one of the injuries, and it gave me the leverage I needed.
At this point, the creature is getting stabbed to death, hit in the back of the head. Gorik is like, kneel before Zod! And the
Except Gorik is actually just going...
yeah. And the creature does, in fact, like, lower itself down, kneeling in front of him. Then it reaches out with a paw and just lifts the cloth away from this small black plank that was lying in his caretaker's hand, and immediately shies his eyes away from it. I need everyone who was in combat with this creature and not voraciously eating their protein powder to give me a intelligence saving throw as you look upon a carving of pure horror.
Ooh, I think I passed.
Very nice pass there. We will have Hugh.
What's the DC?
DC 18. Hugh fails, Gorik fails, Rose. Rose also fails. So, everyone who looks upon the visage and carved into this rock, it is alien and otherworldly and deep and dark, and just, if you have sight of it and don't pass, you are rendered terrified of it and unable to move or look away from it until you successfully save against your terror. As this fox creature just lifted this up and hides himself away from you.
Are we effectively stunned then?
You are effectively stunned, yes. So that is Quartz, and the creature Rose is looking at this thing just in absolute horror at the thing of it. And her turn passes. She saves again at the end of her turn. With a 16 failing as she is absorbed by the horrors of this thing. That brings us back to the top of the round. Goric, you are enchanted by the horror of this, and continue to be as such. Hugh is also horrified, and he will make an intelligence save. Ooh, so close, but is still horrified.
Shit. What is the intelligence save?
DC 18.
Yikes, guys.
Yes.
Gorik's got a +2, but I'd have to roll a 16 or better.
Chandler, you are a wasp. What do you do?
I'll just continue eating my food.
All right.
Right.
Janlar continues voraciously chugging protein powder. DC 11, yeah, no, DC 15, you don't pass that. You are still a wasp. That brings us to Quartz. You act before the creature does. But
Yeah.
you...
Does Goric lose the concentration on his on his thing from being, because he's like stunned, right? It like totally takes his attention. Would he lose his silence?
This seems reasonable to me, and it helps you here, but it could hurt you in the future. So does
Well,
that the way
I
we
think it would
want
also
to-
hurt us here because it means that this combat's going to make noise. Like I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm mostly asking because it will change my strategy.
I think by rule, stunned doesn't interrupt concentration, but I think that's kind of silly.
I'm on board with that. If you guys feel comfortable making stunned drop
If you want to make it like a con save or something as well, like
I could give
that
you a
little
concentration
thread.
saving throw for it. That
Okay,
seems
do you want
reasonable.
2 then, or just 1 on my turn.
We'll give just like on your turn. I think makes sense, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
You didn't take any damage, so it'll just be a base DC 10 concentration.
Can't take actions or reactions. Yeah. So like by rule, it doesn't prevent you. But I think if you are not capable of doing anything, you're not capable of doing anything. I fail it anyway. So
Okay.
there you go. Roll
All
20,
right.
everyone.
The silence drops as Janlar's sitting there eating his food, making buzzing noises to himself.
Is there an angle where I could use a line AoE ability and not intersect any party members?
Yeah, I'm sure you could make that happen.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you gonna
All of
shoot
my
a
spells are
lightning
very
bolt
loud.
in here?
All of my spells are very loud. Actually, I think I have a. Witch Bolt is not that loud, is it?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, it's more like a steady stream of electricity than like
Yeah.
the massive boom. Okay, we're gonna do that instead.
Okay.
The thunderous, like, explosive blast
Right,
of lightning. Yeah.
right.
Okay, so this is an attack roll then. So Court shuffles his feet along the ground and tries to hit this thing with a crit at third
Ooh,
level. So it's gonna take
nice.
6d12. It takes 33 points of damage.
33 points of damage. Damn! It is... Ooh, it is close to dead, but it is not dead. But it is hurting, and you tether it with your stream of electricity from your staff. Excellent. On its turn, it is going to whip around to you, carefully trying to avoid... Did you save against the... Yeah, you did save against
I did.
the terror.
I got a
right?
20, yeah.
Trying to avoid looking down at what it knows to be there, and it rakes out at you with like its claws, just attempting to slash down at you. Its first claw, it strikes out with a 11
Miss.
to hit and a 22.
That's a hit.
I think that'll do it. So you're going to take. 2d4. You're going to take 11 points of slashing damage, and I want you to make me a DC 12 Constitution saving throw.
That's a fail.
Alrighty, so you're going to take an additional
Oh, it's +4 for my con save. You said DC 11?
DC 12.
Oh, yeah, no, it's still a fail.
Okay. So you're going to take an additional 9 points of poison damage from the tips of its claws. It drags
And then the con save, or the concentration save, is half damage, right? So it's either DC 10 or half the damage you take?
Correct.
Okay, so either way, it's just DC 10. I pass it. I'm good.
All right. Nice. So you continue your Witch Bolt actions. That is the creature, which brings us to Rose, who is stunned and terrified. She will save against this artifact and continues to be terrified of it. That brings us to Gorik. Gorik is stunned by the artifact. He will roll at the end of his turn. We'll get back to him. Hugh is stunned by the artifact. Ooh, he was so close to being not terrified. Esteban Montague Garcia IV does not have eyes. Esteban Montague Garcia IV is not affected by the terror. Esteban Montague Garcia IV strikes the creature for a not sneak attack for 5 piercing damage, which does not quite kill it.
Okay, so this is just something I'm curious about. I automatically do damage after hitting with the Witch Bolt. Because I crit, do I continue to do crit damage?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
I think that's just a one
like, it
time.
made sense, but it also seemed insane.
Yeah, that seems really insane. I think it's just like you do base damage after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that is Hugh and Esteban and Janlar. You're a wasp.
Still a
Janlar
wasp.
is still a wasp. Chugging
I think
protein
Janlar
powder.
has finished his protein powder and is now searching out any lights, and he's just like, I guess there's only the one light, is the terrifying light.
When you turned into a wasp, I was expecting you to pull out your dagger and like run in trying to stab things by running into but I like what you're doing even more.
Yeah. Just look for someone having a picnic and then do
Janlar
everything in your
puts
power
his
to
hands
ruin
out and starts buzzing, looking for lights.
The only light in here is the like bright. Didn't he make a bright light with the fucking like terror statue?
No, it's just the statue.
Okay.
It doesn't have a light, although it is polished and gleaming. But
Yeah.
alrighty, excellent. You continue to be a wasp, which brings us to the creature and Quartz. Quartz, you
So I
go first.
So I Palpatine him to death.
You
presumably.
Palpatine him to death.
All right.
The continued surge of electricity from your staff kills the creature. And you are now standing in front of a group of your friends who are just staring in horror at this effigy.
So I think Court's kind of concerned seeing something that looks so reminiscent of the kind of art that his mom had lying around the house.
Gorik passes his next save.
Oh, so Gorik would have passed the end of his turn. So Gorik, you are not terrified.
Okay.
But everyone else
Court's is going to walk over and carefully cover up the rod of terror.
You cover it back over with this large kind of cloth. And as you do so, it gives advantage to saves, and eventually your companions are back to normal. It takes time. I'm going to assume eventually Janlar is no longer a wasp as well, as we continue to save repeatedly.
Yeah, Janlar had like a 50-ish% chance to do it, and then just like...
Takes 12 seconds.
It takes 12 seconds for Janlar.
If anyone comes up to me in 12 seconds, they get stabbed.
I think everyone avoids the wasp like Janlar. After some time, the party is once again clear of mind. You're standing in front of this now open door leading deeper into the tower.
I think Gorik is gonna just sort of grab one of the dead guys and start dragging him down the hall towards the alchemy room that we can open.
Okay. You hide the bodies in the alchemy room.
I do silently say a prayer to Ungral to bless them and pass them along the way to their afterlife.
Janlar is very interested in this prayer now. He wasn't before, but he now pays attention.
It's really hard to pay attention because Gorik says it all in his head quietly, because if you talk out loud, you get shushed.
Okay, never mind.
So Janlar just
Janlar
watches
does not
Gorik.
notice that he's doing this.
All right. The bodies are hidden in the alchemical room, and you make your way down deeper into the tower. And you find yourselves in a large room. And down here in this floor, there is a big circular pit of writhing shadows that you can't quite see, but are just on the edge of your vision. Around this pit are a ring of what look like jail cells, and there are strange creatures of many types in here, shouting in odd languages, seeming to be just gibberingly mad. At the far end of the room, you see 2 jail cells that are filled with human occupants. One Rose quickly recognizes as Algernon, and goes racing around the pit up to speak to him at the bars of his cell. The other is a incredibly old and ancient-looking wizard, who is quietly looking out at the newcomers to this jail cell, as you see our new player character for the first time.
Yes. You see the freckled, kind of half-naked old man in rags, trembling. He looks up at you guys. Can we make noise in here?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I was going to say, based on the fact that other creatures are screaming, I assume so. Who looks older, me or this new old guy?
It's a good question, because you are both ancient. Dwarves have this tendency to look a little timeless in their face, where humans don't. So even an ancient dwarf probably looks less old than an ancient human.
Yeah. This guy has an elongated nose and long ears.
Nice.
Quartz will walk up to his cell while Rose occupies herself with talking to Algernon and say, "Hi, what is this place?
Hello!
What's with all the shadows and the screaming?"
They feed people to the shadows.
That sounds bad.
It is bad. He'll kind of come to the edge of the cell. Are you here to let me out?
How long have you been here?
Very long time.
Gorik's response to that question is, no, but I suppose we could.
It would be much appreciated.
Were you going to be fed to the shadow? Wait, if they feed people to the shadows, why haven't they fed you to the shadows?
They feed the bad ones to the shadows. I'm a good one.
But wait, so the good, but if you're good, why are you in the cell?
I'm not that good. I looked into the wrong books, and they didn't like that. Just a long time ago.
Which books were you looking at?
Oh, old. You look like Man of the Cloth yourself. Just old books about death.
I died once.
Yes. Really?
Yeah, very recently.
Me too, although not quite as recently.
I've not had the pleasure yet.
Would you like it? I can grant it to you if you wish.
I'd like to get out of the cell. Die. Good field outside of this wretched tower.
Janlark, can you open doors? This is locked, right?
You've been traveling with me for a while now. No, Chandler cannot open any doors. Incapable.
You will remember that the 2 creatures that you killed, the Scriveners,
We did take the
carried
key
rings upon
Yes.
them.
Which I did specifically call out during the fight, and then we kind of
Yes.
rushed along after the combat.
Yes. The key rings.
Oh, I thought you grabbed it for sure.
Oh, so these have the weird geometric shapes on them then?
One of them, one of the rings from the man with the kind of whitish robe that was inlaid has a key ring full of geometric shapes. The other has the more standard bronze key that you saw open doors. The locks here appear to be openable by just a standard key.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say, okay, can you help us get out of the tower? Because I don't think they want us to get out anymore.
Only if I have my spell book.
Where's your spell book?
I don't know.
You look around and you see that in this area, along with the jail cells, there is another door that is locked with the kind of normal bronze key, as well as a staircase. Now that you look more closely, that leads down around the edge of this pit to somewhere deep below. Though the pit itself is kind of smooth walled, the staircase just leads down around it.
Well, I guess we could go look for it.
Yes, I'm sure they keep it with the rest of people's things.
Yeah.
I used to be a seeker before they locked me up. And I participated in many affairs of slayings and like. I'll kill as many of these foxes as you like. Just let me out.
Okay, let's go look for your spellbook.
Okay.
How do we get him out?
I have the key, so I'll slide the bronze. I have both the key rings, so I'll just slide the bronze key into the...
Rose looks at you a little frustrated that you didn't open Algernon's cell first. But...
Yeah, and then I'll head over and open up Algernon's cell. Well, I mean, she was talking to him, so I figured, they were having a good time.
Right. So, you open the cell for Algernon, who gets a good hug, and you open up the cell here for your new homeless wizard friend. And it just slides open after the nice chunk of the key sound, and he's freed. As you open these cells, you just hear howls from these other strange creatures. Some of them vaguely humanoid, others very much not so.
Why are they all screaming?
They just started doing it one day. I don't know why. They threw a few people in the pit that day. It was a dark day. It was a bad day. He crawls out on all fours. Then slowly he'll get to his feet.
Well, do you think your book's going to be lower down or higher up?
When I've seen them take the things,
there's you haven't ever seen any things taken down below other than bodies that have been cast into the pit itself. The things that were taken from you aeons past are in the door or on the other side of that locked door on this level.
Okay.
He points a shaky finger at it. That door.
Okay, yeah, I'll go walk around the edge of this thing with him and unlock the door. I want to investigate this this shadowy screaming pit a little bit.
The pit itself makes no noise. The screams come from the other people locked in these cells here.
Oh.
Some of them wordless and some of them
Okay, I didn't realize. I thought that they were all shadowy
I thought there was shadows screaming figures.
No, there's alien-ish to you figures locked in these cells along with your human companions.
Okay.
They seem to be slowly losing a grip on whatever sanity kept them before and are hollering either wordlessly or in some other language at you who are now down in here. The pit itself is silent, though you see this writhing mass of shadow licking around the edges of it, almost like a flame but of shadow.
Gorik is going to take a copper coin, cast light on it, and then just flip it into the pit of shadows.
Alright, you flick your lighted coin into the pit of shadows. It twirls around, casting shadows across the jail cell area until it falls deep into the pit. And almost as soon as it crosses a threshold, it seems like the shadows leap out and grab it. And as they do, the light extinguishes from it. And the lighted spell is no more.
But they don't seem to be damaged at all by the light.
No, it doesn't seem that way to you. No, it seems more that the shadows kind of captured and extinguished the light.
All right.
All right.
What do you think the shadow thing is?
Death. Not like actual, like, important death, like we'll kill you without a second thought, and then
Well,
you'll have
yeah,
to make
I
an
figured that
character
much.
death.
I'm saying, like, what is it?
A death hole. It looks like a evil villain's lair here.
A death
Right,
roll.
but what is it?
Definitely a death hole. Trust me, I've been looking at it for a long time.
Shadows and
I
death.
don't think you get it. Like, what is it made of? Like, what is this thing? What is the origin of it? I get that it's death, but like, why? Why is it? There we go. Why?
It looks like possibly a sacrifice here. Maybe the foxes get their power, intelligence from said being, or maybe said creatures. I don't know.
Should we destroy it?
Maybe if we catch another fox, we can ask him.
Goric, are you able to detect good and evil?
If I have the spell prepared, I can.
Oh.
Otherwise, no. I could try and turn undead.
Can
well,
Rose
actually,
detect
I can-
good or evil?
Greg,
I know
I'm
paladins can at will, but I don't think anyone else can.
I'm gonna use my Eyes of the Grave ability.
Uh-huh.
Is it undead?
Good question.
Gorik's eyes flare with dark energy, and he tells you,
What do you detect with the grave
Eyes of the
sight?
Grave? It
Yeah.
tells me if there are any undead creatures within 60 feet of me.
Undead and only undead. Okay.
Yeah, specifically undead, because it's a grave domain cleric ability specifically.
Within
It's
how
not a-
many feet?
60?
There are undead creatures within 60 feet of you. However, the pit itself does not trigger your Eyes of the Grave.
Okay.
There seems to be undead creatures on the other side of this door, within 60 feet of you.
The one that we're trying to get through to grab his spellbook?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay. I actually don't think I would know about them. It tells me I know the location of any undead within 60 feet that aren't behind total cover.
Oh, then you don't
And I
see
think
any undead
I think
creatures.
yeah, I think the door would block it.
Yes, that makes sense.
It's like the ability is pretty limited because it's like basically unless you're like looking at a pile of
Can
skeletons.
you? I think it's useful for spotting like vampires and stuff like that. Like that's
Maybe
that's
that,
about
yeah.
it.
Yeah, or like there's a pile of bodies and you're like, are these zombies or are they dead bodies?
Oh,
Eyes
I
of the
can see
Grave.
that too, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're zombies. They're just not moving yet.
yeah.
But
So
that makes
no,
sense.
you do not detect any undead
Oh yeah, so
creatures.
so
in this room.
Gorik's eyes flare, and then Gorik informs you. I can tell you that it's not undead.
Hmm.
That's about what I can tell you about it right now, though.
Do you think
So
we need
that's
to destroy it?
useful. I don't know if we can destroy it. It ate my light.
I mean, everything kind of has a limit, right? Is there something really big we could drop on it?
We could shoot the wasp into it. That seemed pretty damn effective a minute ago.
Do I remember being a wasp?
Oh yeah, you remember being a wasp. You ate a lot of protein.
Got a bit of a stomach.
I would suggest not playing with their magic items.
Gorik will look at you and say, well, at least you didn't think you were one of those wasps with an ovipositor. That would have been really awkward.
So, are we unlocking the door to the...
Yeah, I think it's time to open the door and find
Alright.
this old wizard spell book.
You click open the door, it swings open. What's in here is actually a very small room. It looks like a storage room. It actually looks exactly like the cells that they were keeping the prisoners in, except with a solid door instead of bars. And inside of it are all kinds of equipment and things. It just is loaded up with the personal possessions of everyone that has passed through these cells, just kind of piled in here haphazardly.
Okay, have fun. Let me know if there's anything interesting. I'm gonna rest for a few minutes because I'm not feeling too good.
Chandler's
Of
going
course
to take the
goes, like,
time to
lean against the wall.
detect magic as a ritual here.
Greg, I missed because the baby was having a fit. Did we keep the terror staff?
No, it was covered up by a cloth and left. I guess you would have moved it with the bodies. So did you leave it with the bodies?
It's probably in the alchemy room.
In the alchemy room, or did you take the wrapped staff and put it in your pack somewhere?
Could I retcon that we wrapped it up and I did keep it? It's just wrapped? Okay.
Yes, it is wrapped up in that same cloth away from sight.
Okay.
And is placed in your bag.
Okay.
Okay, Lud's gonna approach the pile and just start finagling through it, trying to find his things.
You dig through it, and eventually you find all of your previous possessions, including your small bag of holding and your other just like robes and items.
I'll nudge Janlar and I'll be like, if his spellbook is in there, maybe someone else's spellbook is in there.
You see Janlar casting Detect Magic, and he's...
Yeah, I'm like... Janlar, can you tell me if there are any magic staves? My mom promised to make me one, but I ran away from home too early.
Oh, if there's any magic, we'll make sure we...
Your eyes flare open, and sure enough, you...
Never mind.
Okay. Your eyes flare open, and sure enough, you do find the glow of magic coming from this room. The bag that your new friend has taken is magical. Detect Magic does not detect spellbooks, sadly. But what you do find are there is a ring that glows of magic in a pile. There is also a single scroll and a case of potions that all glow magically from here.
Okay. Janlar is at his carrying limit, so Janlar will point these out to Hugh.
Hugh's like, alright! Hugh grabs a ring and some potions and a scroll and just brings it out of the room to you.
And then I'm ready to transfer.
I'm sorry, what was that you cut out there?
Yeah, you did a weird...
I'll tell people I'm ready to leave. We have all the magic items. Everyone is...
I need a few minutes to finish my short rest.
Gorik's gonna kind of kick around in the pile a little bit because he's curious if there are other spellbooks in here.
Go ahead and give me a perception check as you kick around this pile of
you want
things.
Perception, or do you want me to investigate?
Investigation works for this. This is much more of an investigation than a perception.
Although, to be fair, I think I'm better at perception, but it's too late now. Oh, actually, no, I'm not. I'm slightly better at investigation.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I'm trained in investigation. I'm not trained in perception.
So, you investigate this pile. There are plenty of books in here. You begin cracking some of them open. Many of them are written in completely foreign languages and tongues, and even writing styles to what you are familiar with. Some of them don't even appear to be written on paper. These books are bound with just some other items that seem to come from other worlds. But eventually, you do stumble upon what you think must be a single spell book.
Gorik is sitting there like digging through the pile, and he like picks up a book and he like looks at it and he goes flesh and just tosses it, and then like another one and he goes toss it smut. Keeps going, and then he finds this one and he goes bingo, and he just throws it to Janlar.
And sure enough, written in a cramped hand in the language of magic is a small spellbook that encompasses some 65 pages or so.
I'd like to look on like the first few pages for the name of the wizard.
There is no name associated with the spellbook.
If found, please return to Melvin H. Wizard, 223 Sarmanath.
Sadly, the accompanying foreword is either missing or was never placed in this spellbook.
Oh, it's one of those books that the copyright page always talks about the black market. Like if you find this book without a cover, then.
Matt, did you tell us your name? I might have missed it.
No, I haven't told you my name yet.
Okay, I'll walk up to the old wizard.
I'm looking over my spell book, and you see him go to his bag, and he opens it, and this is the magic bag, and he starts pulling out these long wrapped up figures, and they kind of like clink and clank, and you realize they're skeletons, and they're kind of like struggling.
I've been traveling with Gorik, so nothing scares me at this point.
Yes. He pulls out 4 of these bound skeletons, and he begins casting a spell on them. But if you want to approach.
Okay. Can I determine what spell he's casting?
Probably animate dead.
Yeah, it is a pretty good guess that what he's casting is animate dead. Yeah.
Okay. I don't have it though. Okay, but I'll ask him his name. Sir, what is your name?
My name's Lud.
Led?
Lud.
Lud. Okay. Well, Lud, have you seen any of the wizards down here?
Some over the years.
I found one of their spell books. This wizard appeared to not care if anyone found his spell book, so I'm taking it.
Yeah, Janlar just waves at dibs.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't yours before I took it.
No. It's yours by right.
I'll flip through to like the last page and see what the most powerful spell this guy has.
Okay, the very last spell.
Explosive runes. It blows up in your hand.
Let me find my notes here. Hold on, sorry. The very last spell is a wall of stone.
Okay, so that's a fairly high level spell. Level 4.
Wall of stone you might know to be a 5th level spell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a pretty powerful wizard. Will be very happy as he puts the book away.
Gorik is conspicuously unhappy about the animate deading that's happening here.
Lud is
I
blissfully
think Quartz's
unaware.
fascination with the occult has him pretty happy with the animate deading that's going on here.
He starts unbinding the skeletons and he commands them to stand up.
And yes, as your control settles in once again on these skeletons, you unbind them from their iron shackles, and they rise up and stand straight.
Ready to kill some foxes.
He was like, "Yeah, I am." And he like pulls out his sword, his rapier of wounding.
Nambar
like,
is vibrating on Rose's hip.
Rose is like trying to have a discussion with Algernon, and like her mace is vibrating.
Yeah, Janlar will cast Mage Armor on himself.
Lud will cast
But
it.
Mage Armor lasts for 8 hours. It should.
I didn't cast it earlier.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
remember because we slept in the study.
Right. Well, I remember him talking about casting it earlier.
He
but I
was
think
going
changed
to
his mind
cast
'cause
it and reneged because
I kind of
of
think
the-
I had casted it before we'd gone out last episode, but I don't remember. So we'll just cast it now.
Alrighty. And so with that, I suppose the party is ready to try to navigate its way back out of this tower.
Short rests, right?
Yes, I was going to get to that. You all take a minute to have a short rest. Eat whatever rations are left over from the wasping incident. Spend some hit dice and heal up.
On the way out, Janlar wants to use Mage Hand to try to take the wasp thing out of the forehead of the creature. To see if it's a
Alrighty.
reusable magic item.
I want to check out these alchemy boxes as well.
Okay, so we will go ahead and take whatever benefits of the long rest you want. We will go ahead and take our first break right here, and we will get to you, your exit from the tower on the other side. So we'll be back in
Short
about 5
rest.
minutes or so, and we'll see you then.
I assume we're taking a short, not a long.
Yes. Did I say a long rest or short?
Said
rest?
long rest, but you meant short.
I did mean short rest. All right, we'll be back in a few.